It is a big week for us. As Keith said though, a wise man once said nothing. We don't want to get too carried away with the fact that we can go top of the league with a win, so I'm going to touch wood at this point because we don't want to jinx anything, but we do very much want to keep our feet on the ground, don't we?
Yeah, we do, because it's Bury this weekend, it's Friday night, it's going to be on Sky. There's a lot of publicity surrounding the fixture. Obviously there's our local rivalry, there's the Keith and the Flicker connection, so you can understand what it is, but this is one game of 13 now that we're facing in a run-in. And people are talking about run-ins and stuff on paper. Well, we know what happened to paper last week, don't we? And we got the right sort of stuff to fill the paper with. It was a blank sheet of paper that Keith was waving about, but what we've got to do is we've got to make sure that the script that goes onto that paper is the one that we want. Football isn't played on paper, we know that, and if you're looking at it, it's not going to happen. There's an argument to say that you'd want to be playing somebody like Wimbledon and Morecambe sat in the middle of the table as against these teams at the bottom, but the ones at the bottom are the ones who've got more to fight for. The Torquays, the Northamptons, the Accringtons probably got more to fight for than the Wimbledons and the Morecambes. So these are all going to be tough games, and I know they're all cliches, but I think what we've got to do is what we've done from the majority of the year, and that's be professional. We know what we want to do. Keith has said we've already achieved more than he expected us to, with the finances, the good run in the league, the cup run, the nurturing of young players. But there's no reason, if we stay focused and professional, that we can't achieve something this year which is beyond what he thought we were going to do, and it's great. You know, we should all enjoy it as well.
We do like to be transparent, and every week we do ask supporters to send in questions. Now this is the first time someone has actually got in touch, which is fantastic. There's a couple of bits to this, so we'll start off. One supporter would like to know, where do we train now? How satisfactory are the facilities, and do we get a good deal?
Well, we do train at a number of venues, both locally, so we would use somewhere like Hotwood College, we'd use the Soccer Factory. We've got a number of venues in Salford, such as Salford Sports Village and others. We try and rotate around. We do use the club now, and we obviously use the cricket club as well locally. The facilities, yes, we are happy with them, and yes, we do get a good deal. We'll always fight to get the best deal that we can, and I think we're very lucky that we've got some partners that are very helpful to us in order that we can use their facilities, such as the cricket club, etc. And that's important. So we're getting good deals, we are happy with what we've got, but they're obviously not our own.
Next part of the question is, on the back of that, are we still looking for our own place in the town itself? How much would this cost, and would it happen realistically possibly in the next 5 years or so?
Yes, we are looking definitely all the time. The local authority are fully aware of what we're looking for, and as sites become available, then obviously we'll get a consultation on that. In terms of cost, I think the cost will depend on the site at the time, so at this moment in time it would be impossible for me to give you any idea, but suffice to say that whilst we are getting a good deal on the training venues that we use, obviously if we had our own, we could put those costs into, if you like, a mortgage, and if it was something that we were going to own, then it would be on a long term, so we probably look to borrow the money against the land, get a mortgage on a long term and look to pay for it that way, depending on the cost and where it is. But realistically, I can't see us being on our own training ground in the next 2 or 3 years, because if you were to identify a site tomorrow, then there would be a lot of work that would need to go into developing that site with the quality of pitches that we'd require. Obviously the changing facilities and support facilities, gyms, treatment rooms, changing rooms, etc. Would all need to be funded. And so if we were to find somewhere tomorrow, that would probably take 2 or 3 years to get, but it isn't impossible that within a 5-year period we could have our own facility, but without actually having identified a suitable site locally, It's difficult to say at this time, but we're looking at every day, and every time there's an opportunity we will explore that to its full. So I appreciate that question, thank you.
Another question which has cropped up over social media over the weekend is regarding bringing hot food into the ground. Are you able to clarify why supporters are not allowed to do that?
Well, we just need to get this into perspective. I mean, if you go to McDonald's, you can't take your own food in. If you go to the cinema, you certainly can't take your own food in any way, shape or form. And we're no different here. We're obviously trying to run a business, but we're trying to keep a common sense approach on it. And we actually brought this up a couple of years ago, and I think if you go on the website you'll see that when you get onto ground regulations, we've actually put a policy statement in place along with the ground regulations. And what we do is we do allow some refreshments to be brought in, but it doesn't include hot food. So if somebody wants to bring a Kit Kat or a bag of crisps, then we'll allow them to do that. People have different dietary requirements. What we try to do with our catering is we try and offer some fast food that can be served in a short space of time, which is that half-time window that we have. I think we're also liberal because we'll allow hot drinks to be brought in terms of flasks, and you know, people act in a proper manner with regards to the flasks. We do that. And it's surprising actually how many flasks get left in the stadium and end up in our lost property. But no, we're not going to allow people to bring hot food in because we're providing hot food in it ourselves. And it can be a bit messy, and we did have a scenario a few weeks ago whereby we believe that the flares that were brought in in a fish and chip wrapper, and that really shouldn't have happened, not the flares or the fish and chips.
Was that the game against Morecambe?
That's right, yeah. So we are clear. I think we've got a good common sense approach in allowing refreshments to be brought in. No cans can come in, obviously, no alcohol, but we will allow a flask, and we will allow, like I say, some snacky crisps, Kit Kat to come in. And I hope that explains why we're a business, and we're trying to have a common sense approach to that business.
And just finally, we've served the notice for the AGM, which will take place later this month.
Yeah, I think is it Thursday the 27th of March. We've got all the papers out, so shareholders who've submitted or registered an email address with us have had them electronically, which is a big saving on costs and time. The notice has gone in the paper and obviously on the website, and I know you've punted it out through the wall and the social media networks. So shareholders should get the message that they can come along at 7:30 on the 27th. We'll talk about the business, which is really the business up to the 31st of May 2013, and then obviously we've moved into a new season. What we tend to do is we have the formal part of the meeting, whereby we get the AGM business done. We then have a break, have a little buffet, have a little drink, and then we have what is the annual shareholders unique opportunity to. It's just something we do every year, and it's nice to meet up. I hope that we get a good turnout this year.
And just finally, you mentioned there about the wall. Can I just encourage supporters to come onto the wall? Obviously, the more hits on our website, the better, really. We do earn money from that. You can interact with us on there, you can post. There's polls as well. We had a great response to the man of the match poll, and it's just nice to see other people's opinions rather than just the sponsor on a match day. So come along and interact with us, and we'll do our best to reply, but it is taking over my life slightly at the moment.
Who won the man of the match on?
It was Cav, with 40% of the vote.
Right.
So
how much did Joe get, just out of curiosity?
I think he finished 5th. It was Scott behind Cav, Jamie Allen, Jack O'Connell, then I think it was Joe Raff.
There you go.
But all the details are on the wall, and you can access the wall either through our social media networks, or there's a tab up the top right hand side of the website. Thank you very much.
Thank you.